welcome to this edition of Lee's Open Mic, and today we're joined by my buddy from Hickory.
That's me.
North Carolina,
Yes,
John
sir.
Reep. Good to see you,
Lee.
Johnny.
How's things?
Pretty good.
Yeah.
You?
Pretty good, pretty good. Getting healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, went to the doctor like I was telling you earlier, and well, at one point he told me I had the high-fecta. I was like, what is the high-fecta? He goes, 3 things are too high. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, high triglycerides.
Yeah.
So that scared me a little bit.
Right.
So I've been trying to work out, obviously, if it's working.
You know, I talked to a cardiologist once, though, who told me, he said, I don't really care about cholesterol. He
Really?
said, what I care about is I can eyeball your gut. And if I see a guy with a gut, that tells me he's really in danger.
Like you don't eat, like there's obviously high cholesterol involved with the gut. Yeah, that's, but doesn't high cholesterol can lead to like blocked arteries and that kind of stuff?
Right.
Yeah.
But his telltale sign was more about the gut than it was
well, that's
anything
everybody.
else. Yeah.
I mean, most
well, no,
people.
I mean a pronounced gut,
Right.
especially a guy who probably would have a thin frame anyway.
Oh yeah, like
you
a
know.
skinny fat guy.
Yeah.
Those are the worst.
That's where I was headed. I'm like doing this no bread thing. I started in January and I've held on to it, and that works pretty good for me.
It does. Yeah. No, if I can stick to the low carb diet, it just comes off easily. Right. But it's hard to do. You know, late at night, you know.
Especially with the lifestyle you
Room
live.
service, the bar food, it's all breaded or it's all carbs.
You got to kind of work at it, but there's ways to do it.
Yeah.
So now, John, I mentioned Hickory, North Carolina. That's where you grew up.
I grew up in Hickory, yes. Hickory's kind of famous. It was once the, oh, by the way, I'm actually not even saying it right. We don't pronounce it Hickory. Yeah. There's no, the O is silent, you know. Okay. It's Hickory. Hickory. And that, you know, you got to shake your head because that means you're proud of where you're from. People do that when they get proud. They kind of do like that. Hickory was, it's kind of famous. It was once the furniture capital of the world. Yeah. Home to Winston Cup champion Dale Jarrett and the pig from Green Acres.
Really? That's where he came from.
Yeah. Not Arnold, Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Yeah, no, like it's a misdirection there.
Yeah. It sits at the bottom of the Appalachian Mountains, you know, so literally hillbillies look down on us, you know, look at them down there brushing their tooth, acting all uppity. But yeah, I'm from there, born and raised, moved to Raleigh, North Carolina to go to school at NC State, started comedy there, Goodnights Comedy Club.
Right, Charlie Goodnights.
Charlie Goodnights. They dropped the Charlie now, it's just Goodnights. I don't know what happened, but that club's still there. I'll be going there, one of my favorite clubs. I got my start because well, I'm a huge football fan, you know, so when the Panthers first came into the NFL, we were so excited. I'd go to a football game, tailgating, you know, getting a drink on. And there's like 10 of us. And I actually ended up getting kicked out of a Panther football game because I was dancing with the mascot, Sir Purr. He invited me out there to the field. Cop didn't see the invitation. It's all on video. And that whole thing's what started the comedy career. Because I thought, well, if I can make 75,000 people laugh without saying one word, maybe I should at least tell that story on stage. Sure. And that's where I started at Goodnights and then moved to Los Angeles in 2000. Been out there ever since.
Now, how well established were you as a comic before you moved to LA? I mean, like how much time did you have?
Oh, I was already headlining.
So you were,
but not like for money. It was more like the other guy didn't show up. Yeah. That kind of headliner, like college gigs, you know. Yeah.
Was that your sole source of income? I
quit the last real job I had was in 1998. Yeah. And I was working for UNC TV, PBS. You know, I was like a production assistant, like what these guys do, running cameras, teleprompter. I mean, there's boring shows, like one of them was called Legislative Week in Review. Oh my God, I almost fell asleep telling you that. And the other one was called North Carolina Now. That one not so bad, but you know, I was very blessed to be working there because I had access to all this awesome equipment, you know. So I was featuring, you know, I had a solid 30 minutes. Sure. And I took like 3 cameras. I had some, you know, I turned in some favors from some buddies, you know, to come run the cameras. And I had 2 channels of audio. I made my own half-hour special. Yeah. You know, and then I had access to all these VCR decks where you could make 10 copies at once on tapes that were recycled for free. Yeah. So I made like 100 tapes for $0 and just sent them to every comedy club I could get an address for. And slowly the offers came in. I mean, for no money, but to me it was like,
oh yeah,
I'm chasing it, you know.
Yeah,
and I quit my job and UNC TV in October of '98, and I never had a real job since then.
So we decide I got to go to LA.
Yeah.
And how long were you out there before something comes along? Because the first thing I remember with you is the Hemi ad.
Yes. So I did the Just for Laughs festival in '99, 2000. Living in North Carolina still, living in Raleigh. Went to Montreal, did that. That went well enough to where they said, well, why don't you come to LA and take some meetings? And I said, okay. So I had a couple meetings set up, and they all said the same thing. You should move here, because you're like a natural actor, you know. Like I act my stuff out. I just don't do the jokes. I wish I could just do that. I got to use all this. it's more exhausting, to be honest with you. I'm not that clever, but so they all said you're like a natural actor. So I moved there for that reason. Got into commercials. First thing I did. Yeah, and that one was crazy. Like, so I had a college agent who wanted to be a manager, and I let him manage me for a minute. And then he got me a commercial agent, and all they do is send you on auditions for commercials, you know. So I probably went on 20, 30 auditions before I got the Dodge one.
Yeah.
And
you told me that story before, but I love that, how you saw what was going on in the room when they brought you in.
It was weird. Like, so my agent calls me up. He thinks he's like, you know, Jeremy Piven from Entourage, you know, of the commercial world. Yeah. He calls me up and says, I got an audition for you today. It's for Dodge, and you're going to be playing white trash. I was like, I know what that is. And so I had an old Goodyear outfit. I used to work at a Goodyear. I had my old Goodyear outfit. I put that thing. I looked very blue-collary, you know. And I go down there, and I put a dip in my mouth. I had this hair back then as well. And I had a little stubble, no beard. But I go down there thinking I got this part. I have not seen one other white trashy redneck guy other than me since I've been here. Yeah. I didn't know who they're going to call.
Right.
I go in the waiting room. There's 30 other dudes who look almost exactly like me. I mean, I don't know where they came from. It was weird. They all had red hair and freckles, too. I'm like, who are you people? I mean, Dodge knew what they were looking. They had it down to science. They wanted the ginger. So I'm like, okay. So I go in there, and there's the scripts on the table. You pick up a script, and it was just one line. It just said, that thing got a Hemi. And so I'm reading that. I had been taking acting classes when I moved out there, so I'm out there reading that, practicing it in my head how I was going to say it. I'm out there going, that thing got to him, man. Like, well, they didn't want white trash. And then I just went in there and said it, and I added some stuff. I thought it'd be funnier if I just stuck my elbow out like I'm actually in a beat-up duster. You know, you would have your elbow out the window. Right. That's what you would do because the air conditioning's not going to work. Right. And I thought, well, if I'm in a muscle car, maybe I'll vibrate a little bit. So I'm sitting in this chair doing this and waiting for them to say go. No one had said anything. This idiot just walks into a room, sits down, and just starts doing this. And they go, what's he doing? And they go, just say the line, John. I go, that thing got a Hemi! And they go, all right, we found a redneck.
Didn't the guys like high-five each other? Yeah, we got him.
We found him. I was like, what do you mean you found me? I drove here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
So that led to the whole series of them. We did 6 of those things over the course of 4 or 5 years. And they didn't know that it would be successful because they never had like a long-term contract. Yeah. It was like one at a time, which was to my benefit. Yeah. Looking back, you know, because my agent kept knocking the price up. Sure. So that was good. I got lucky. Yeah.
You know, it's funny how that town works because then you get with Rodney Carrington.
Yeah.
And like I just learned yesterday, they canceled like the Mick. They canceled Last Man on Earth.
Yeah.
They've canceled The Grinder. Yeah, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. All these shows that are really well written. Yeah. And the show that you and Carrington did, where you played sheriff's deputy.
I played Gerald Bob Ridley. Yes, deputy sheriff.
It was a great show.
It was great.
And they never give them a chance to grow an audience.
No, that show. It came on after, according to Jim. If you remember, Jim Belushi had a show, and that. The sign of a successful show is if you keep the audience watching from the show before it, the lead-in, right?
Yeah.
So we kept 99% of the audience.
Yeah, and
well, that's a long story. I think, well, Rodney was making enough money before the sitcom. They didn't 100% need it, well, although you need a sitcom. I mean, that's a hard job too.
Sure.
Not many people can say they had a sitcom with their name on it. You know, that's crazy. So anyway, he was making decent money, and I don't know. I think they didn't. New people came in. So the guy who hired Rodney got fired. Second season rolls around, new people come in. They're like, who's this? You know, Hollywood doesn't get the South. They don't get blue collar. They don't get it. So they're trying to figure that out with Roddy. And he told me this story, which I love. He had been, they canceled a couple meetings. He was still like flying back and forth between Tulsa and Los Angeles. And, you know, he kind of knew the writing on the wall, like it was going to get canceled. So he walks in there to this meeting, you know, these Hollywood executives all dressed up in suits, and he walks in shorts, flip-flops, and a big gulp. Yeah. And they had to cancel it on him because there was a Jewish holiday. And he walked in going like, well, if you guys would quit this silly religion, we'll get some work done around here. And they go, I think we're done here. And so that was the end of the show. Yeah. And I was like, wait, I just bought a house. I tell people, if you want to get a sitcom canceled, all you got to do is buy a house within walking distance, and it will cancel it for you every time. Right.
Growing up, John, who were some of your comedy heroes? I mean, who did you follow?
Well, you know, it changes over the years. Like when I was a kid, I would watch, you know, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin movies.
I love Dean Martin.
Oh, anyway. I love both of them. And I mean, Jerry Lewis to me, I mean, he is a cartoon. Like he was as a kid, he's great. You know, so I used to love that. And then Steve Martin was one of my favorites.
Again, a lot of physical guys we're referencing here.
He's a sophisticated stupid, which I also like. His stupid is smart. Yeah, you know, and so I like that about him. I try to be that a little bit, but I'm not that smart. Brian Regan,
I love Brian Regan.
Is one of the funniest. Yeah. He's one of the funniest guys I've seen live. Yeah, he was so funny. I had my hand up, begging him to stop talking so I could breathe. Yeah, I mean, it was that funny.
Yeah, again, physicality and
goofy.
Because I mean, you
not serious.
No,
I like good
and he's brilliant, and, and he's so funny. But nobody could do his act. No, like you couldn't take it and translate it. It wouldn't work. Nobody could sell it.
It's his face, it's his body, but it's also well written. And that part sneaks up on you because he's performing it so well that you don't see that it's actually something he's crafted over the years. Right. And I hate to say this, but Bill Cosby was
I know
was a huge influence.
Every comic we talk to is the same deal.
Yeah,
you know?
It's like he was great.
Yeah,
he was.
I mean, it's not like I loved Cosby after 2015.
Yeah, I didn't like his stand-ups. I like him now.
That's right. Yeah, that's the answer you start.
I hope he's rooming with Jared from Subway. You know, when he goes to jail.
Well, anyway, if you get a chance to ever see John Reep, you're going to love it. All my buddies, man, they cite you as one of the favorites. So,
oh, good.
Yeah, John Reep, again, we appreciate you coming in. Thanks for talking to us.
I appreciate you, Lee. And this guy's hilarious, too, which you already know, but go check him out. Well, you ever go back up there?
Well, yeah, I'm still working.
All the time, right?
Well, not all the time, but you know, I pick and choose now.
Very funny.
Hey, thank you, buddy. All right, that'll do it for this edition of Lee's Open Mic.